Your life only changes when you decide to take control of it. That's the truth. For too long, most people drift through life hoping circumstances will improve, waiting for motivation to strike, or blaming others for their struggles. But change doesn't happen that way. Real transformation begins when you decide enough is enough, when you commit to becoming a better version of yourself and take full responsibility for the results you get. In the next Arthur E days, everything you thought you knew about yourself can change, because your habits, focus, and mindset are all under your control. This is not about wishful thinking. It's about deliberate action. It's about facing the truth of where you are, removing what holds you back, and building habits that reflect who you truly want to become. For Arthur E days, you can train your mind, sharpen your focus, and align your daily actions with your highest potential. You can stop living on autopilot, stop letting distractions steal your life, and start creating results that make a real difference. Every day, every decision, every moment matters. You might think Arthur E days isn't enough. That's what most people tell themselves. But let me be clear, it's not the length of time that matters, it's what you do with it. Focused, intentional action compounded daily is more powerful than months of half-hearted effort. When you commit fully, when you decide to follow through, even when it's uncomfortable, you begin to rewrite your identity. You become someone who doesn't settle, someone who doesn't wait for permission, someone who doesn't give excuses. This journey will require honesty. You will have to confront your habits, your mindset, and the choices that have kept you small. You will have to remove distractions, take responsibility for every result in your life, and push yourself to do what's necessary even when you don't feel like it. But here's the promise. When you follow through, the results will be undeniable. You'll see it in your confidence, your energy, your focus, and your ability to handle challenges. You'll feel it in the pride of becoming someone you respect. Over the next Arthur E days, this video will guide you step by step. You will learn how to take responsibility, discipline your mind, eliminate distractions, and create new habits that reflect the person you want to become. This is your blueprint for reinvention, a practical and realistic path that works in real life. If you apply what you learn, if you follow through with action, you won't recognize yourself at the end of this journey. The old patterns, the old excuses, and the old self will no longer define your life. This isn't theory. This isn't fluff. This is the real actionable process to take control of your life, starting now. The next Arthur E days are your opportunity to step into a higher standard of living, thinking, and acting. By the end of this journey, you'll see that reinvention isn't a distant dream. It's a choice, commitment, and a practice. Your future self is waiting, and it's time to show up. Every day counts. Every action matters. And today, this is where your transformation begins. Number 1, decide today that you refuse to live on repeat. Change begins the moment you say, "I've had enough." That's the truth about reinvention. You don't change when someone motivates you. You change when you're done living the same story over and over. Most people spend their whole life on repeat. Same thoughts, same habits, same results, and they call it life. But real life begins when you decide to stop replaying yesterday and start building tomorrow. Reinvention doesn't happen by accident. It starts with a firm decision, a decision that says no more waiting, no more blaming, no more pretending. This is the day you draw the line. When you decide that the old version of you ends, you begin to reclaim your power. Every person has 2 lives, the one they live and the one they are capable of living. The gap between those 2 is made of decisions you've postponed. Reinvention is about closing that gap. It's not about changing your job, your city, or your clothes. It's about changing your mindset. It's about taking responsibility for who you've been and who you're about to become. Nothing moves until you do. Nothing changes until you make that decision that this version of you is expired. You have to look at your life with full honesty. What are the habits keeping you stuck? What do you keep tolerating? Reinvention requires truth, and truth is uncomfortable, but you can't grow without it. You can't become new if you keep protecting the same excuses. Most people defend the very habits that destroy them. They say, "That's just how I am." But that's not how you are. That's how you chose to stay. Reinvention begins when you stop defending your limits and start breaking them. It's not enough to want change. You must decide it's non-negotiable. The person you are today is the result of every small choice you've made. And if those choices haven't given you peace, purpose, and progress, it's time to start making different ones. Every day for the next days, you have to wake up and remind yourself, I'm not who I was. I'm not repeating that story. Say it until your actions prove it. Reinvention is not about perfection. It's about direction. You just need to start walking in the right one. You might think, can someone really change in days? The answer is yes, if you're serious. Because when you're serious, every day counts. Every choice matters. Every hour becomes an opportunity. 21 days is not about time. It's about intensity. It's about focus. It's about showing your mind who's in control. The problem is, people want to feel ready before they start. But you don't get ready by waiting. You get ready by moving. You get ready by deciding that your old ways no longer run your life. The truth is, the old version of you won't leave quietly. It will fight back. It will whisper that change is too hard, that comfort feels safer, that maybe you'll start next week. But you've heard those lies before. They kept you stuck before. This time you answer back differently. You say no more. You tell yourself that comfort will not buy you freedom. You remind yourself that discipline will, growth will, responsibility will. That's how you begin to reinvent yourself, not by motivation, but by a new level of self-respect. To reinvent yourself, you have to give up the story that you're a victim of circumstance. You're not. You're the author. You can't edit a story you refuse to own. Take control of your time. Control your thoughts. Control what you do when no one's watching. The small things create the new you. The discipline to read instead of scroll. The decision to act instead of complain. The courage to face what's uncomfortable. These are the invisible steps that separate who you were from who you're becoming. Reinvention means cutting ties with the identity that keeps you small. You must stop introducing yourself to life as the same person. Stop saying I'm trying. Start saying I'm changing. There's power in claiming it. The old you is gone not when you say it, but when you act like it. Start with one change today. Wake up earlier. Speak better to yourself. Write down your goals. Stick to your word. Do it for 30 days straight. You'll start to notice the difference, not just in results, but in how you carry yourself. Every day will test your decision. Some mornings you'll feel unstoppable. Other days you'll feel tired. But remember, you're not going backward anymore. You're building a new identity, and that identity needs evidence. Every action you take becomes proof of your decision. You're proving to yourself that you can do hard things, that you can stay consistent, that you can evolve. That's the beauty of reinvention. It doesn't come from inspiration, it comes from repetition. The new you is built one disciplined day at a time. So if you're listening to this, I want you to remember one thing: no one can do it for you. Not your parents, not your friends, not your boss. Only you can decide when it's time to start over. Only you can say, I'm done being average. The power to reinvent yourself is already in you. You just need to use it. The old version of you was built by comfort. The new version will be built by commitment. For the next 30 days, stay committed, stay hungry, stay focused. Because once you see what's possible, you'll never want to go back. Number 2, Face your truth and take full responsibility now. Your life only changes when you take responsibility for it. That's the first truth you must accept. Most people live in denial, blaming circumstances, other people, or luck for their struggles. They ignore the reality that their choices built their current life. Reinvention starts with one thing: facing the truth without excuses. Every action, every habit, every outcome is your responsibility. If you refuse to admit that, you'll keep spinning in the same place. Real power comes when you stop pointing fingers and start owning every piece of your life, the good, the bad, and the messy. Facing the truth isn't easy. It's uncomfortable to look at where you've fallen short, to confront bad habits, or admit that your decisions created failure. But the moment you embrace honesty, you regain control. Denial is a trap. It feels safe, but it keeps you small. Taking responsibility means you stop complaining and start acting. You recognize that no one else will solve your problems for you. Every delay, every excuse, every regret can be replaced with a choice to act. Facing reality doesn't diminish you. It empowers you. Responsibility starts with your mindset. You must accept that life doesn't owe you anything. No one is required to give you opportunities, success, or recognition. Waiting for someone to fix your life is wasted energy. Your circumstances are neutral. Your actions give them meaning. If you are frustrated, it's because you haven't acted. If you feel stuck, it's because you haven't taken control. The moment you take full responsibility, you become unstoppable. You start seeing problems as challenges you can solve rather than obstacles that control you. Responsibility gives you freedom. Every decision you make matters. Most people underestimate how small choices shape their destiny. Waking up late, spending hours on social media, ignoring your health, avoiding difficult conversations, these are all decisions. And they add up. When you take responsibility, you start noticing these patterns and correcting them. You don't wait for motivation. You act consistently. You don't wait for perfect conditions. You create them. You don't blame others. You adjust your behavior. Every small step counts. Reinvention happens one responsible choice at a time. Taking responsibility also means facing your mistakes without excuses. If you failed at a relationship, a job, or a project, own it. Don't hide behind explanations. Don't tell yourself, I didn't have a chance, or they made me do it. Accountability is about honesty. It's about saying, this is my life. I'm responsible for it. I will do better. When you accept blame, you remove fear. Fear disappears because you are no longer a victim. You are a decision maker. Every failure becomes a lesson and a stepping stone toward growth. Your actions now determine your future. When you take responsibility, you start designing the life you want. You no longer drift with circumstance. You set goals, make plans, and execute them with discipline. You stop complaining about what's missing and start creating what's possible. Life responds to those who act, not those who hope. Reinvention is impossible without this principle. You must face yourself honestly, take responsibility, and act daily. Small, consistent actions build momentum. Momentum turns into results, and results create the new version of you. Responsibility also impacts your emotions. Most people feel powerless because they refuse to own their feelings. They blame anger on others, sadness on life, or stress on events, but your emotions are yours to manage. Taking responsibility means controlling your responses rather than being controlled by them. When you feel frustration, you ask, what can I do about this? Rather than, why did this happen to me? This shift changes everything. You begin to feel empowered, capable, and strong. Emotional control is a byproduct of personal responsibility. You must stop blaming circumstances for your lack of progress. Life will always throw challenges. You will fail. People will let you down, but these are not excuses to stay small. Responsibility means saying, I will figure it out, I will adapt, I will learn. When you do this consistently for days, you start building character, resilience, and self-respect. You no longer wait for approval or external validation. You take action because it's the right choice, because it's necessary for growth, because it's your responsibility. Taking responsibility. When you stop blaming others, you start communicating better, you listen more, and you lead by example. People respect those who own their choices. They are drawn to those who act decisively and honestly. Reinvention is not just about personal success. It's about becoming someone who elevates everyone around you. When you face the truth and take responsibility, you stop pointing fingers and start offering solutions. That's a powerful transformation. You become someone who inspires trust, respect, and action. Finally, understand that taking responsibility is the key to lasting change. No strategy, no motivation, no shortcut will work if you refuse to own your life. For days, commit to facing your truth every single day. Look at your habits, your choices, your words, your actions. Take ownership of every part of your life. Stop complaining, stop blaming, start acting. In doing so, you'll discover freedom, strength, and a version of yourself you never knew existed. Reinvention is a choice. Make it now. Number 3, discipline your mind to follow new daily standards. Discipline is the bridge between goals and achievement. Without it, all your plans remain dreams. Your mind is your most powerful tool, but left unchecked, it becomes your greatest enemy. Most people allow random thoughts, fleeting emotions, and external distractions to control their behavior. Reinvention requires mental discipline. You must train your mind to follow new standards each day, consistently, without excuses. It isn't about doing something once or twice. It's about making it a habit until it becomes second nature. When your mind is disciplined, your actions align with your intentions, and your life begins to change. Discipline starts with awareness. You must first notice where your mind wanders, what excuses it tells you, and what habits it clings to. Most people don't see this because they are too busy reacting rather than observing. For 3 days, watch yourself. Notice the negative thoughts, the self-doubt, the temptations to quit or procrastinate. Acknowledge them without judgment. Awareness is the first step to control. You can't direct your mind if you don't know where it drifts. Observing your thoughts gives you the power to decide which ones you allow and which ones you reject. Setting new standards is essential. Decide what your day will look like, what behaviors are non-negotiable, and what values you will uphold. This could be getting up early, reading daily, exercising, completing tasks, or maintaining focus on your goals. These standards become your mind will resist because it is used to old habits, but repetition makes it obedient. Every day you uphold your standards, you strengthen your mental muscles. Your brain begins to accept these behaviors as the norm. Discipline is not punishment. It's training your mind to serve you rather than control you. Consistency is key. 1 day of effort does not change a life. 21 days of repeated actions create a new baseline. You may not feel different immediately, but your habits are building quietly. Every morning you follow your new standards, you reinforce self-respect. Every time you ignore distractions, you strengthen willpower. Every time you act despite discomfort, you prove to yourself that you are capable. Your mind learns through repetition. The more consistent you are, the less you rely on willpower and motivation. Standards become your default, and discipline becomes effortless. Discipline requires eliminating temptation. You can't train your mind while constantly exposing it to old distractions. Remove what weakens your focus. Silence notifications, reduce time with negative people, and avoid habits that drain your energy. Protect your mental space. Reinvention demands this level of commitment. Every decision to avoid distraction is a vote for the new you. Every action aligned with your daily standards strengthens your identity. Discipline is strengthened by environment and intention combined. If you protect your focus, your mind will follow. The clearer the boundaries, the stronger the transformation. Mental discipline is also about controlling self-talk. Most people talk themselves out of progress before they even try. You must catch those thoughts and replace them with purposeful statements. Instead of saying, "I can't," say, "I will figure it out." Instead of "I'm too tired," say, "I will push through." Words shape actions. The mind obeys what it hears repeatedly. For days, guard your inner dialogue. Speak to yourself with respect, clarity, and determination. Your words build your identity, and disciplined self-talk forms the backbone of a disciplined mind. Accountability strengthens discipline. Track your progress every day. Write down your actions, successes, and moments of weakness. Review them honestly. When you measure what matters, you stay aware of your patterns. The mind responds to evidence. Seeing your growth reinforces your standards. Seeing lapses motivates correction. Discipline isn't rigid punishment, it's feedback-driven improvement. Over time, this practice rewires your brain. You start prioritizing long-term benefit over short-term comfort. Your actions and thoughts begin to align naturally. Reinvention is a process, but daily discipline makes it inevitable. Discipline also builds resilience. Your mind will resist, especially during stress or fatigue. The temptation to relax, procrastinate, or escape is strongest when you are tired. But this is precisely when discipline matters most. Acting according to your standards despite discomfort proves to yourself that you control your mind, not the other way around. Each act of consistency increases confidence, reduces stress, and strengthens resolve. You'll notice that obstacles that once seemed overwhelming now feel manageable. Mental discipline is resilience in action. Your new standards create a mind that can endure, adapt, and thrive. Reflection reinforces discipline. At the end of each day, evaluate your adherence to your standards. Ask, did I follow my plan? Did I maintain focus? Did I act with intention? Celebrate victories and identify weak points. This daily review trains your mind to notice patterns and make adjustments. Without reflection, discipline is blind repetition. With reflection, it becomes mastery. In days, this practice builds a self-aware, self-directed mind that naturally adheres to higher standards. Reinvention is more than action. It is conscious control of your mental habits. Finally, understand that mental discipline creates freedom. At first, following new standards may feel restrictive, but it actually liberates you. You stop being a slave to impulses, emotions, or old habits. You gain the ability to choose your actions, control your responses, and direct your life. Discipline transforms your mind into a tool that works for you. By committing to days of consistent mental effort, you will build habits that last far beyond this period. You will feel more capable, confident, and prepared to create the life you desire. Reinvention begins and ends with a disciplined mind. Number 4, remove every distraction that steals your progress. Distractions are the silent killers of progress. They steal your time, energy, and focus without warning. Most people complain about not achieving enough, but refuse to remove what wastes their attention. Social media, meaningless conversations, endless notifications, or habits that drain your energy quietly sabotage your goals. Reinvention requires ruthless clarity. You must identify what pulls you away from the person you want to become and remove it without hesitation. Every distraction you eliminate gives more space for focus, growth, and purpose. Progress doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you intentionally protect your mind. The first step is awareness. Most distractions operate unnoticed. You check your phone while eating, scroll aimlessly when tired, or gossip in ways that waste energy. These small moments add up, they fragment your mind and steal momentum. For Urs or E-days, track every moment you lose to distractions. Write it down. Seeing the truth is uncomfortable, but necessary. Once you recognize where you are losing focus, you can take action. Distractions don't disappear by wishing, they disappear by deliberate attention. Observation is the foundation of control and reinvention. Next, prioritize your time like a resource you cannot waste. Every minute is a vote for the life you're building. When you choose to watch a pointless video instead of working on a skill, you are making a statement about your priorities. Decide that your energy belongs to growth, guard your mornings and key hours fiercely. Remove distractions first thing. Silence notifications, close unnecessary tabs, and tell people when you are unavailable. Protect your environment as if your goals depend on it, because they do. Your results are a reflection of the focus you maintain. Eliminate low-value habits that drain energy. Many people keep habits that feel comfortable but add nothing to their future. Complaining, gossiping, overthinking, and mindless entertainment may seem harmless, but they erode ambition. If your goal is to reinvent yourself, every moment spent on low-value activity is stolen time. For Urs or E-days, replace these habits with actions that move you forward. Read, reflect, exercise, plan, or act intentionally. Distractions are often disguised as relaxation or escape, but they are wasted potential. Discipline yourself to choose growth over temporary comfort. Physical environment matters. Your surroundings either support your focus or encourage distraction. If your workspace is cluttered, you will feel scattered. If your phone is within reach constantly, you will check it. If negative influences dominate your space, your attention will wander. Clean your environment, organize your workspace, and create a physical area where productivity thrives. Remove items and cues that pull your mind elsewhere. The simpler your environment, the sharper your focus. Reinvention requires this level of attention. When your surroundings demand discipline, your mind follows. Set boundaries with people. Not everyone supports your growth. Friends, family, or colleagues may unintentionally pull you back into old habits. For Urs or E-days, communicate limits. Protect your time and energy. That doesn't mean abandoning relationships. It means controlling when, how, and for how long you engage. Surround yourself with people who inspire, challenge, and encourage your progress. Remove or limit connections that drain your focus. Distractions are often social. The more intentional your interactions, the more your mind stays aligned with your goals. Protect your circle to protect your results. Digital discipline is crucial. Phones, computers, and apps are constant attention thieves. For Urs or E-days, create rules for technology use. No social media until tasks are complete. Silence notifications. Unfollow accounts that waste energy. Use apps intentionally rather than letting them use you. Most people think they can multitask, but the mind loses focus when split. Protect your mental bandwidth. The less digital clutter, the more mental clarity you have. Every hour spent distracted online is an hour lost for skill building, planning, or reflection. Control the device, or it controls you. Mindful breaks are better than passive distractions. Rest is necessary, but passive scrolling or binge watching feels like rest, but is actually wasted time. For Urs or E-days, practice intentional breaks. Move, stretch, meditate, or read something meaningful. Give your brain recovery without surrendering focus. Distraction-free breaks recharge your mind and improve productivity. They allow your energy to return to purposeful action. Every hour you spend deliberately recharging adds more value than hours lost in passive, unfocused activity. Reinvention is sustained energy applied consistently, not scattered energy scattered everywhere. Accountability amplifies focus. Share your goals with someone who will check in. or track progress publicly. When distractions arise, accountability keeps you on course. Most people fail not because they lack ability, but because they lack consistency. If someone is watching or you must report progress, you are more likely to stay disciplined. Distractions are less tempting when your actions are measured and recorded. For Days, use accountability as a tool to enforce your new standard of focus. It turns awareness into action. Finally, recognize the long-term payoff. Removing distractions feels restrictive at first, but it creates freedom. Freedom to think clearly, act decisively, and build a life worth living. Your brain adapts quickly to new standards. What once felt uncomfortable, after days of removing distractions, you'll notice sharper focus, faster progress, and increased confidence. Reinvention isn't about eliminating enjoyment. It's about eliminating what steals from your potential. Focus and freedom go hand in hand. Your progress depends on what you allow into your mind and what you remove. By protecting your mind and environment, you reclaim control. Reinvention demands it. Distractions are not harmless. They steal your time, energy, and future. By taking these days seriously, committing to focus, and removing what doesn't serve you, you create a foundation for lasting change. You gain clarity, confidence, and momentum. Your actions will align with your vision. You will begin to see results not because life changed, but because you changed. So, progress comes to those who remove the noise, focus on what matters, and take full responsibility for their attention. Number 5, build new habits that match the person you want. Your habits determine the person you become. The truth is simple. You are the sum of what you do consistently. Most people dream of change, but never examine their daily routines. You can't reinvent yourself by wishing for a better life while maintaining the same habits. Every choice you make reinforces who you are. To become the person you want, you must build habits that reflect that version of yourself. Habits are not just actions, they are identity statements. They tell the world and yourself who you are. Start today by aligning your actions with the person you aspire to be. Begin with clarity about who you want to become. Without a clear vision, habits are random and ineffective. Write down the qualities, behaviors, and routines of your ideal self. What does your best version do every morning? How do they speak, act, and think? What skills have they mastered? Once you know, you can reverse engineer your habits. Habits are simply repeated actions, small steps toward that vision. Focus on what matters most and build routines that support that person. Every habit is a vote for who you are becoming, so choose them carefully. Start small, but start intentional. Many people fail because they try to overhaul everything at once. Reinvention doesn't require massive changes. It requires consistent, manageable adjustments. Choose 1 or 2 key habits to implement. Maybe it's reading 20 minutes daily, exercising, planning your day, or journaling. Focus on repetition, not perfection. Repetition builds identity. Each day you follow through, you reinforce the behavior. Eventually, the action becomes automatic. This is how transformation works. One disciplined habit at a time reshapes your mind, your day, and your life. Environment shapes habits. The person you want to become will not thrive in an environment that encourages old routines. And so, create surroundings that support your new. Place cues for positive habits in visible areas, and remove triggers for negative ones. Organize your space to make productive actions easier and distractions harder. Your environment either reinforces growth or reinforces stagnation. For Days, design a space that makes your habits inevitable. When your surroundings consistently nudge you toward your desired self, discipline becomes simpler and change becomes more natural. Consistency beats intensity. A single day of perfect habits does not transform you, but repeated actions do. For RSE days, commit to your chosen habits every day. Some days you will feel motivated, other days tired or distracted. Do it anyway. Habits are built through action, not feeling. Your consistency will create momentum, making it easier to stick to new routines over time. Your mind will start to accept these behaviors as normal, and your identity will shift. Reinvention isn't a sprint. It's sustained, deliberate practice repeated daily until it defines you. Replace old habits with purposeful actions. Habits are rarely neutral. They either build you up or tear you down. Identify behaviors that no longer serve your goals and replace them with productive alternatives. If you want to be more focused, replace social media scrolling with reading or planning. If you want to be healthier, replace junk food with better nutrition. Don't just eliminate bad habits, consciously choose new ones. The person you want to become is built in these replacements. Each action reinforces identity. You don't wait to feel different, you act differently until you are. Accountability strengthens habit formation. Track your habits daily, note successes and setbacks. Reflection reinforces growth and corrects errors before they become patterns. Share your goals with someone who will check in. Accountability motivates and accelerates transformation. Most people underestimate its power because they think habits are only internal. In reality, external accountability magnifies internal discipline. When others see your progress or know you're serious, you are more likely to follow through. Reinvention is faster when you combine internal commitment with external support. Habits are tied to your emotions. People stick to routines that feel rewarding. Find ways to make new habits satisfying. Celebrate small wins. Notice improvements in your energy, focus, and confidence. Positive reinforcement strengthens behavior. Conversely, recognize the discomfort and choose action despite it. Every time you push through resistance, you build resilience. In RSE days, you'll feel the difference in self-discipline and mindset. Your emotions will begin to align with your actions. Reinvention isn't just what you do, it's how you feel about the person you're becoming. Reflection and adjustment are key. Not every habit will stick perfectly the first time. At the end of each day, review your habits. Did they align with your vision? What needs adjustment? Reinvention requires feedback loops. Each day, refine your routines, remove friction, and enhance effectiveness. Habits aren't static. They grow and evolve with your goals. By consistently reviewing and adjusting, you maintain alignment with the person you want to be. This intentional approach ensures that habits become lasting identity markers rather than temporary behaviors. Finally, recognize that building new habits is building a new life. The habits you choose define your health, productivity, mindset, and relationships. By committing for RSE days, you create momentum that carries beyond this period. Transformation becomes inevitable when actions and identity align. Reinvention is not a distant dream. It is the product of daily habits executed with consistency and purpose. By intentionally shaping your routines, you become the person you admire. Start small, stay consistent, protect your focus, and act daily. Your future self will thank you. Remember this, the person you are tomorrow is created by the choices you make today. Reinvention isn't a wish or a hope. It's a commitment, a decision, and a series of deliberate actions. For RSE days, you've learned to face your truth, take responsibility, remove distractions, discipline your mind, and build habits that reflect the life you want. The change you seek doesn't come from luck, circumstances, or waiting for someone else to give you permission. It comes from doing the work, showing up even when it's uncomfortable, and holding yourself accountable to the highest standard. Progress comes in small, consistent steps repeated daily. Each decision you make toward your goals compounds into results. Each action aligned with your vision strengthens your identity. And every time you resist old habits and act intentionally, You move closer to the person you are meant to become. Don't underestimate the power of these Arthur E days. What seems small now will feel massive later. By committing fully, you've planted seeds that will grow into confidence, focus, resilience, and success. You've proven to yourself that you can change. You've proven that your habits, your environment, and your discipline shape the life you deserve. This is not the end of the journey. It's the beginning. Reinvention is a continuous practice, and every day forward is an opportunity to refine, strengthen, and elevate yourself. Carry this forward. Take responsibility for your actions. Protect your focus. Build your habits with intention. And refuse to settle for anything less than the life you imagine. You are capable of more than you realize. You have the power to design your destiny. The Arthur E days are complete, but your transformation is just beginning. The choice is yours to live by the new standard you've set. Commit to it, act on it, live it, and the person you've always wanted to become will finally show up in your life. The life you desire is waiting, and it won't wait forever. Take what you've learned, take action today, and make every moment count. Reinvention is not a future possibility, it is your present responsibility. Apply it, protect it, and never look back. Your new life starts now, built on the choices you make, the discipline you maintain, and the courage you show. Step into it fully, and nothing will ever be able to stop you.